Good afternoon to all of you. I am Nitin Varshney, Assistant Professor in SIRT College, Bhopal. Today I am going to teach you a topic that is scheduling algorithm FCFS, that is first come first serve in operating system. So let's start. In last video we are going to teach that what is the scheduling and what is the main role of scheduling algorithm. So the CPU scheduling algorithm deals with the problem to deciding which process's ready queue should be allotted to the CPU. Okay, so means we have a n number of process and having a different type of priorities. So whose priority is should be highest or which process is going to be execute first, it should be decided by scheduling algorithms. There are few commonly used scheduling algorithms are first come first serve, that is FCFS. Second one is shortest job first, SJF. Third one is priority scheduling. Fourth one is round robin scheduling. Fifth one is multi-level queue scheduling. And last one is multi-level feedback queue scheduling algorithm, that is the MFQ. Now we are going to explain in details what is the first come first serve scheduling algorithm. So according to the name, this scheduling algorithms process the request which should become first and it will be provide first to the CPU, means it worked as a queue which will in which the first process comes first and second process will come, then it will be provide number 2, third process provide a number 3, and according to that these process are executed by CPU. The implementation of FCFS is managed by FIFO queue. So you can see here that we have a queue that is called a ready queue, and we have a first process named A, another process named B, another process which will be followed by B is C, and another process which will be followed by C is D. So we have a 4 different type of process and it will be provided according to the ready queue to the CPU. So first A is executed. After the complete execution of A, then process A get terminated, then B process move toward the CPU, then the execution of B should be taken in the CPU. After that it will be execute, then another process that is the C, it will be provided to the CPU, and last one is D, then D process should be moved toward the CPU. So according to the priorities or according to the scheduler, it will be provided toward the CPU. So when a process enters the ready queue, its PCB is linked to the tail of the queue. Means whenever we are going to discuss about the priority of the queue, so first priority queue should be inserted by the tail of the queue. Okay, then it will be moved toward the head of the queue. The some properties of the first come first serve algorithm is it's a non-preemptive, so we cannot interrupt or we cannot generate any type of interrupt in CPU at the time of execution. Means suppose we have a and B process, A is going to be executed, the CPU is busy in execution of the process A, so the B should not preempt, or we can say that should not generate any type of interrupt between the execution. The B should be executed after the complete execution of A and it will be terminated by the processor, then B process should be started. Once the CPU is allotted to the process, that process keep the CPU until it release the CPU either by terminating or by input output request. So we are going to discuss one example of FCFS scheduling algorithm. So consider we have a three process P1, P2 and P3 and having a different burst time. The burst time is nothing, the time of execution, or we can say that the total time of execution of the process. P1 having 24 millisecond, P2 3 millisecond and P3 also having a 3 millisecond time of execution. So you can see here that first of all we are going to calculate the different parameters, that is the turnaround time or burst time. We can say that the turnaround time is a total execution time which will be calculated by a simple formula. Okay, and we are going to calculate waiting time, or we can say that average waiting time of the process. So we can easily calculate the total execution time of the process used by particular algorithm. Okay, first of all we are going to prepare the Gantt chart for that. Here we can say that the P1 is a first priority, P2 is second, and P3 is third priority. First priority is going to start, so the initial time of the P1 is 0 and the complete execution time of the P1 is 24. Then the CPU will completely busy by P1 process, and 24 millisecond should be used by CPU, which will be a time execution of the P1 process. Then whenever it complete the process P1, it should be terminated. Now the P2 process should be started, so the waiting time of average waiting, we can say that waiting time of the P2 process is 24 millisecond, because the average time, the waiting time of the P2 is the waiting time of P1 process to be completed. So the starting time, or we can say the initial time or starting time of the P2 is what? The completion time of P1. Okay, so the initial time of the P2 is 24 millisecond, then it also having a 3 millisecond execution time, then it will be added in P2, then it will be executed and terminated at 27 millisecond. Now the execution time of P2, or we can say the termination time of P2 is 27, so the initial time of P3 process is also a 27, because the waiting time of P3 process is what? The combination of process P1 and P2. Whenever both process get terminated, then third process should be started, so the complete burst time of both the process should be added, and it will be the initial time of process P3. So what is the initial time of P3? P3 is 27, and after execution it will use 3 millisecond and terminated at 30 millisecond. Okay, so this Gantt chart should be prepared. Now we are going to calculate the waiting time of P1. So the waiting time of process P1 is 0 millisecond, as we know that the P1 having a highest priority, so it doesn't having any waiting time, so it will be started at the 0 level. Then waiting time of P2 is 24, because P2 wait until P1 process is complete their execution, so its waiting time is 24. And then P3 is also a same as P2, because the P3 waiting time is that the combination of P1 and P2, so that is the 27. Now we are going to calculate the average waiting time. So average, we have a simple formula for the average, that is the number of observations upon total number of observations upon number of observations. So we have a three number of observations, 0 plus 24 plus 27, and the number of observation is 3, so we are going to divide by 3, so we have a 17 millisecond. So this, what is the 17 millisecond? The 17 millisecond is the total average waiting time of CPU. Okay, so you can easily see that if we have a different type, so we can say that if we have a different type of order to execute the P1, P2, P3, so here we have a different example. Suppose the execution order should be changed, P2 having a high priority, P3 then, and last one is P1. So we are going to see that the P2 initial time is 0, and it will be finished at the 0 to 3 millisecond. Then after P3 started at the 3 millisecond and complete their time in 6 millisecond. Then the initial time of the P1 is 6 millisecond, and the 6 millisecond plus 24 millisecond makes a 30 millisecond. So the complete execution time is 30. Now again we are going to check the waiting time. The waiting time of P2 is 0 because it comes fast. The waiting time of the P3 is 3 millisecond and the waiting time of P1 is 6 millisecond. So we are again going to check our average waiting time. The average waiting time is 0 plus 3 plus 6 divided by 3. So 3. So we have a 3 millisecond average time. Means if we are going to change our priority, the average waiting time, or we can say that the whole average waiting time of the CPU should get changed. Okay, so we have a one numerical to solve. We have a different waiting time P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. So we have a different bus time and arrival time. You can see that the 6, 3, 8, 3 and 4, and arrival time is 2, 5, 1, 0 and 4. So first of all we are going to prepare the Gantt chart. You can see that the process P1, we can see here the arrival time. We also have a arrival time. So first of all we are going to check the priority. First priority is P4 because it having a arrival time 0, it come first. So we are going to execute first P4 process. It will be processed at 0 to 3, then P3, then P1, then P5 and P2. So here you can see that we have a different arrival times and different bus times. So we are going to prepare our Gantt chart. Now we are going to calculate our average waiting time. So P4 is initial waiting time, or we can say that if we are going to calculate the waiting time from arrival time, so we have a formula that is the start time minus arrival time. Okay, P4 having a start time is 0 and arrival time is also 0, so waiting time of the P4 is 0. Now we have a P1, so we have a starting time is 3 and arrival time is 1. You can see here a chart, the arrival time of P3 is 1, so 3 minus 1 is 2. Similarly P1 11 minus 2 is 9, P5 17 minus 4 is 13, P2 21 minus 5 is 16. So we have a average waiting time is 40 divided by 5, that is the 8 milliseconds. Okay, so there must be some disadvantage in the FCFS as it's a non-primitive algorithm. So if having a higher priority algorithms, or we can say that if we have a higher priority of the process come at the between or at the time of execution, so it can be executed, or the process which will be run already in the CPU, it should not be terminated. Okay, the average waiting time should be very high because the scheduling order should not change at the time of execution, it will remain same. Okay, then short process that are the back of the queue have to wait for a long process to the front to finish. And last one is not an idea technique for the time sharing because of its simplicity. FCF is not efficient. So the first come first some process not as efficient as other algorithms. We are going to discuss many other algorithms in our next video. So for that, thank you, stay tuned and keep learning.